Hello, good morning. Today in the series of ongoing video lectures of Shalakyatantra, I am going to teach you nasal polyp. The Ayurveda of nasal polyp, that is Nasash, we have already done. So our topic is nasal polyp. I have already given the introduction when I taught you Nasash about nasal polyp. That is, it is of two types, bilateral ethmoidal and intraconal. So let's start the lecture and do the topic in detail. So nasal polyp. Nasal polyps are polypoidal masses arising mainly from the mucous membrane of the nose and paranasal sinuses. So they arise from mucosal membranes of nose and paranasal sinuses. They are they are overgrowths of the mucosa that frequently accompany allergic rhinitis. तो ये अधिकतर एलर्जिक रिनाइटिस के साथ होते हैं जिसमें म्यूकोसा की ओवरग्रोथ हो जाती है. They are freely movable and non-tendered. Coming to its sides, there are two major types of nasal polyps. First is ethmoidal and second is antroconal. First, bilateral ethmoidal polyp. We will study it in detail. Ethmoidal polyps are multiple, bilateral, painless, pearly white, grape-like muscle arising from the ethmoidal ear cells. So इनका जो arise होता है वो ethmoidal ear cells से होता है. Ethmoidal ear cells are multiple ear cells present on medial to the eyes. Then etiology. It is very complex phenomenon, still not well understood. तो ये complex phenomenon है जो अभी तक clearly understood नहीं हुआ है. Various abnormalities like inflammation, ciliary motility disorder, cystic fibrosis may result in formation of nasal polyp. Then various etiological factors responsible nasal polyp, जिनको कि इसकी एटियोलॉजी में कॉज माना गया है, वो हैं chronic rhinosinusitis, asthma, aspirin intolerance, allergic fungal sinusitis, syndromes which we will study later, then nasal mastocytosis, Bernoulli's phenomenon. The first is chronic rhinosinusitis. Its types: allergic and non-allergic. Second is asthma. Nasal polyp is seen in patients of asthma of atopic or non-atopic origin. So either it may be hereditary or non-hereditary. Atopic means hereditary and non-atopic means non-hereditary in origin. Then aspirin intolerance. Aspirin intolerance is also one of the important etiological factors. Symptoms triad of nasal polyp, asthma and aspirin intolerance. तो symptoms triad में थ्री समय जो है phenomenon मिलते हैं, polyp, asthma and aspirin intolerance. Then allergic fungal sinusitis. Almost all cases of fungal sinusitis form nasal polyp. Nasal polyp is formed in all the patients of allergic fungal sinusitis. Then syndromes responsible for polyp formation takes place include Young's syndrome, Cartagena syndrome, Church-Strauss syndrome. So these syndromes are responsible for polyp formation. Then nasal mastocytosis. It is a form of chronic rhinitis in which nasal mucosa is infiltrated with mast cells, but few eosinophils. So there is increased infiltration of mast cells in nasal mastocytosis. Skin tests for allergy and IgE levels are normal. Then Bernoulli's phenomenon. It also plays a major part, which states that gases or fluids passing through a construction result in an area of negative pressure in its vicinity, leading to sucking of ethmoidal mucosa in the nasal cavity. The condition may occur in DNS cases. So Bernoulli's phenomenon also have a role in the development of nasal polyp of bilateral ethmoidal type. Then its pathogenesis. Due to collection of extracellular fluid, nasal mucosa, particularly in the region of middle meatus and turbinates, become oedematous. Due to gravity and excessive sneezing, polyp becomes pedunculated, which are sessile in beginning. So these become pedunculated in later stages. Then clinical features. First symptoms. Nasal obstruction, either unilateral or bilateral. Anosmia, loss of taste. Watery or mucopollulant discharge. Headache. Broadening of nose leading to frog face deformity. Protrusion of the mask from nostril. So these are the symptoms. Then coming to signs. On anterior rhinoscopy, they appear as smooth, glistening grape-like masses, often pale in color. They may be sessile or pedunculated. They are insensitive to probing. They do not bleed on touch. So they are smooth, glistening grape-like masses. Most oftenly pale in color. ये sessile या pedunculated हो सकते हैं. Probing के लिए ये insensitive होते हैं और ये टच करने पर ब्लीड नहीं होते. Probing of a solitary ethmoidal polyp may be necessary to differentiate from hypertrophy of the turbinate or cystic middle turbinate. तो प्रोबिंग नेसेसरी है इसको डिफरेंशिएट करने के लिए फ्रॉम हाइपरट्रॉफी ऑफ द टर्मिनेट या सिस्टिक मिडल टर्मिनेट से. A polyp may protrude from the nostril and appear pink and vascular. Nasal cavity may show purulent discharge due to associated sinusitis. तो associated sinusitis के कारण purulent discharge जो present होता है. तो ये एथमोइडल पॉलिप हम देख सकते हैं इस फिगर में. दिस इज एथमोइडल पॉलिप. ये मल्टीपल हैं. Then coming to its pathology, surface of nasal polyp is covered by ciliated columnar epithelium like that of normal nasal mucosa in early stages. Later it undergoes metaplastic changes to transitional and squamous type on exposure to atmospheric irritation. तो nasal polyp की surface जो है इनिशियली तो नॉर्मल होती है, कवर्ड बाय सिलियरी कॉलमनर एपिथेलियम से, पर एटमॉस्फेरिक इरिटेशन से ये मेटास्टैटिक चेंज में कन्वर्ट हो जाती है टू ट्रांजिशनल एंड स्क्वेमस टाइप. Some mucosa shows large intercellular spaces filled with serous fluid. There is infiltration with eosinophils and round cells. यहाँ infiltration के spelling में mistake हो गई है, ये infiltration. Then investigations. Complete hematological examination, complete urine examination, nasal smear for eosinophils, culture and sensitivity test of nasal discharge, X-ray PNS, that is Waters view, CT scan, osteometrial complex, both coronal and axial sections. So these were the investigations. Then coming to diagnosis. Clinical examination is undertaken for the purpose of diagnosis. CT scan is must to exclude the malignancy or bony erosion. तो इसमें CT scan must होता है कि कोई malignancy तो नहीं present है या bony erosion present तो नहीं है, उसको rule out करने के लिए. Then histological examination of the tissue. Then coming to its treatment. First is conservative treatment. Antihistaminics and decongestants to relieve the symptoms. तो एंटीहिस्टामाइन्स में जनरेशन 1 जनरेशन 2 की एंटीहिस्टामाइन दे सकते हैं. जनरेशन 2 की एंटीहिस्टामाइन जो वो सिडेशन नहीं करती हैं, लाइक सिनर्जिन, फेक्सोफेनाडिन, सिट्रिजिन एटसेट्रा. जबकि जनरेशन 1 की जैसे सीपीएम है वो सिडेशन का कॉज करती हैं. देन डीकंजेस्टेंट्स लोकल और ओरली अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, जैसे ऑक्सीमेटाजोलाइन, ज़ैलोमेटाजोलाइन, फिनाइलेफ्रिन. ये लोकली एप्लीकेशन के लिए यूजफुल हैं और सिस्टमिक यूज के लिए एपिड्रिन, सूडोएफिड्रिन को हम यूज कर सकते हैं. Then administration of steroids orally in the form of nasal spray are useful if the polyp is small or administered post-operatively to avoid recurrence. तो steroids को orally या in the form of nasal spray यूज किया जा सकता है when polyp is small और post-operatively भी recurrence को रोकने के लिए इनको यूज किया जाता है. However, steroid therapy must be given with caution. Then surgical treatment. First is polypectomy, then intranasal ethmoidectomy, extranasal ethmoidectomy, transsternal ethmoidectomy, endoscopic sinus surgery. First, polypectomy. Pedunculated and sessile polyp can be removed with this procedure. Then intranasal ethmoidectomy. Uncapping of the ethmoidal ear cells is done through intranasal route when polyp are multiple and sessile by employing the procedure called intranasal ethmoidectomy. So in this case, uncapping of the ethmoidal ear cells is done through intranasal route. Then extranasal ethmoidectomy. This is indicated when polyp reoccur after intranasal procedures and surgical landmarks are ill-defined due to previous surgery. तो जहाँ इंट्रानेजल प्रोसीजर्स से ये सही नहीं हो पाते हैं एंड सर्जिकल लैंडमार्क्स इल डिफाइंड होते हैं तब एक्सट्रानेजल ethmoidectomy की जाती है. Extranasal ethmoidectomy के लिए जो approaches to the medial wall of the orbit by an external incision medial to medial canthus. Then next is transcentral ethmoidectomy. When infection and polypoidal changes extend to the maxillary antrum, then transcentral ethmoidectomy is performed. Antrum is opened by Carl-Well-Lux operation. Ethmoidal cells are approached through the medial wall of the antrum. Then next is endoscopic sinus surgery. Ethmoidal polyp are removed by endoscopic sinus surgery, more popularly called FES these days, and is commonly employed nowadays. It is done with various endoscopes of 0 degree, 30 degree and 70 degree angulations. Polyp can be removed more accurately when ethmoid cells are removed. So removal of ethmoid cells will be helpful for removal of the polyp. Moreover, involved sinus such as maxillary, sphenoidal or frontal can be provided better drainage and ventilation. Then next is enterocornal polyp. बाद में अभी मैं कुछ काम कर रहा हूँ. So enterocornal polyp. The synonyms of enterocornal polyp are enteroconic polyp, also known as Killian's polyp, nasal polyp. Enterocornal polyp is a benign solitary polypoidal lesion arising from the maxillary sinus antrum, causing opacification and enlargement of antrum radiologically without any evidence of bone destruction. So it is benign solitary polypoidal lesion which arises from maxillary sinus antrum. Radiology shows do not show any evidence of bone destruction. Bone destruction is absent. It exits the antrum through the accessory ostium, reaches the nasal cavity, expands posteriorly to exit through the choana into the postnasal space. So it has three parts: antral, corner, and nasal. Antral is thin stalk, corner is round or globular, and nasal is flat from side to side. So here is a picture of endoscopic photograph of right nasal cavity showing an anterocornal polyp arising from the middle meatus and blocking the right posterior corner. So in this figure, this is enterocornal polyp, which arises from the middle meatus and blocking the posterior nasal aperture. This is picture of coronal CT scan image showing the above enterocornal polyp arising from the right maxillary antrum and extending into the right nasal cavity through the widened natural ostium of the sinus. So here we can see the enterocornal polyp, which causes widening of the natural ostium of the sinus. So it fills maxillary antrum as well as right nasal cavity. Then coming to its etiology. Its exact etiology is not known. Nasal allergy associated with sinus infections is incriminated. It is seen in children and young adults, usually and are usually single and unilateral. So these are single and unilateral, while ethmoidal polyps are multiple. Then coming to clinical features for signs, anterior rhinoscopy may show the polyp as glistening polypoidal structures. तो anterior rhinoscopy पे ये glistening polypoidal structures show होते हैं. They will be insensitive to touch. This feature helps to differentiate it from a hypertrophic nasal dominate. तो ये फीचर जो है इसको hypertrophic nasal dominate से differentiate करते हैं. Then post nasal examination will show the polyp if extending posteriorly at the level of corona, that is posterior nasal aperture. If it fills the nasopharynx, it will be visible there. Here is picture of left intracorneal polyp hanging into the oropharynx. So here it is intracorneal polyp hanging into the oropharynx. Then coming to investigations, post-nasal examination will show the polyp if extending posteriorly at the level of cornea. If it fills up the nasopharynx, it will be visible there. X-ray paranasal sinuses will show hazy maxillary antrum. So maxillary antrum जो hazy होती है on X-ray nasal पैरानेजल साइनस पे शो होने पर। CT scan of the paranasal sinuses is diagnostic. It will show the polyp filling the maxillary antrum and exiting out through the accessory ostium into the nasal cavity. Here is the picture showing CT through the paranasal sinuses. Demonstrate a low density mass filling the maxillary sinus, protruding through an enlarged maxillary antrum. So here this is the polyp filling the maxillary sinus. Then coming to differences between enteroconal and ethmoidal polyp. Enteroconal polyp, it occurs due to infections, while ethmoidal polyp due to allergies. Enteroconal polyp is solitary, while ethmoidal polyp is multiple. Third, enteroconal polyp is more common in children, whereas ethmoidal polyp is more common in adults between 32 to 60 years of age. Then enteroconal polyp is usually unilateral, while ethmoidal polyp is bilateral. Then enteroconal polyp is trilobed as nasal and conal parts, whereas ethmoidal polyp is multiple small grape-like clusters. Next, enteroconal polyp arises from maxillary sinus near its ostium, whereas ethmoidal polyp arises from ethmoid sinus. Then enteroconal polyp grows backwards to corona, may hang down behind the soft palate, whereas ethmoidal polyps grow anteriorly. Enteroconal polyp is not precancerous, whereas ethmoidal polyp is precancerous. Then enteroconal polyp, in case of enteroconal polyp, it is non-recurrent, usually does not recur after complete removal for recurrent polyp. While ethmoidal polyp have common recurrence. Then coming to the differences between treatment of enteroconal polyp and ethmoidal polyp. In case of enteroconal polyp, the treatment includes polypectomy, Caldwell occupation, FES for recurrent polyps. Whereas for ethmoidal polyps, the treatment is FES, that is functional endoscopic sinus surgery, which is common for both enteroconal and ethmoidal polyp. Then coming to treatment, surgery is treatment of choice, which include polypectomy, Caldwell procedure, and endoscopic approach. So these are procedures for enteroconal polyp. First, polypectomy. Polypectomy by nasal or oral route is procedure of choice. However, recurrences are common with this procedure. Caldwell look, that is CWL, operation is preferred in case of recurrences. Caldwell look procedure is the procedure in addition to polypectomy. The maxillary antrum is entered via the canine fossa and the enteral component is completely excised. So in cardiac procedure combined with polypectomy, enteral component is completely excised through this procedure. An endoscopic approach with the advent of nasal endoscope, this approach is preferred one. Using an endoscope, it is always easy to completely remove the polypoid tissue. The uncinate process must also be completely excised. Endoscopic approach has the advantage of a complete surgical excision with negligible recurrence rates. So, endoscopic surgery uh, leads to complete excision plus negligible recurrence rates. Other advantage is that it is more of a conservative approach as compared to cardiac operation. So it is more conservative procedure. So thank you for listening to the lecture. So in this lecture, we have studied types of nasal polyp, which are two types, ethmoidal and intracornal. Their signs, symptoms, investigations, diagnosis, difference between two types of polyp, that is bilateral ethmoidal polyp and intracornal polyp, and their methods of treatment, including conservative as well as uh, surgical procedures. So we have noted that endoscopic surgery is preferred and most reliable type of surgery for these polyps. So thank you very much for listening to the lecture. Have a nice day.